back to Make That Sea Change. Paul here again with you. Today we're going to look at another one of our posts or videos that we've been looking at on how to make money online. So today we're looking at how to make money selling photography online or photographs online. This has come about I'm not a photographer, but I do use a lot of photographs and a lot of images in my posts. So when I was flicking around Facebook the other day, I noticed one of the local girls here was selling images, and she was selling them as you know, you can purchase from her and she'll send you on a canvas, framed or unframed or however you'd like it. And it just struck me that there's a lot of people out there who are photographers who might want to try and make some money selling their photographs online. Now, it's not something that will make you a lot of money early. It is a long game selling photography online, but it is something that if you are looking to fund your sea change and do need help with just a little bit of extra income on the side, or a little bit of extra income to help you build your website or with your website, then photography is, if it's something that you're good at and have a talent for getting the right photograph at the right time, it is a very competitive market, then it's certainly something to be worth looking at. So let's go and have a look. So as we start all these areas on how to make money, the first thing we want to look at is make sure there's a market, because it's not worth setting yourself up and getting all the equipment and getting the video editing software and doing all that sort of stuff if there's no one's interested in buying. Now, the thing that you are up against here is the free sites. I've got a little confession. All the images that I put onto my post come from the free image sites. I think in time I will go to the paid ones, because you have a better range and you have more options within the ranges that you're looking for. There's only so many images that you can use on the free sites before you run out, or before you're looking at duplicating, which I don't really like to do. But there is a big market there for it all. So if we go to our stats, let me click down here, the stats. So the stats for buying photography online is about 3,900 searches per month. You are dealing with 670 odd visits to your site if you're looking at online photography per month. And there's quite a few others there. So we've got buy photos online, we've got photographs online. So all the variations of that will bring you in traffic. And then just to highlight, I did actually do a search here for free photos online. Don't worry, I'm not going to by the end of this have you marching down to give all your stuff away for free path. But there is a market there for it, and 646 searches per month on free photos online. I haven't done searches for free images online, or selling images online, or photography, or captures was another one I saw for the other day. They will come, and they will, all those variations are there. So if you do your keyword searches right, you'll be able to hook into all those and get that market as well. Now, as far as the trends are concerned, over time, there's been not huge numbers, I will admit, but there's been enough interest over the past 5 years. There was a real surge in free photographs in 2014. I think that was before the market started to correct and there was more paid sites, and so a lot of the free images went off that onto paid sites and things like that. But it has maintained a steady interest, meaning that it's not a fad, meaning that it is going to be something that's around for a while, and interest does cruise along. So again, it's not something that you can be worried about being a fad if there's a massive spike, or if there's a dip, thinking, well, hang on, in 12 months time I'm not going to have any option for any photos. So there's a good market there. Now, the next section I want to talk to you about is niche. Now, normally we talk about if I'm selling hi-fi, we've talked in the past about selling televisions, for example, and if I was going to be an affiliate marketer for televisions online, then is televisions too small because I might run out of things to talk about with televisions? Do I want to branch out into hi-fi, or do I want to go to the complete home cinema option? And then I've got a lot more range of options to talk about, and it also keeps me within targeting a specific audience. I think with photography, I think the variation in your niche there really comes down to what it is that you want to sell. If you just want to be a photographer, take photos and sell them, well, that's your niche. But what you need to not worry about, but what then you need to look at is how you're going to market your photos and what types of photos you actually want to market from that. So if you're looking at, for example, landscape shots or travel shots or food or photography. If you look in this post, there's lots of photos on cameras and photography and people taking photos and things like that. I searched the word photography. We'll talk about keywords later on, but that's a section of photographs that I needed for that time. Landscape photographs, if you want to branch out and doing big canvases selling on Amazon or eBay or something like that with big landscape images, or if you want to branch out into people having photos of food, so people are doing sell recipes online. They might want your images of particular dishes, so you might just take photograph of dish after dish after dish. You can expand on that as you go, but I think it's important to have a good portfolio of a certain type of photos before you move on to the next one, because that's where people look. They look for those sort of images, and they look for specifics in image quite often. If you want to branch out to other things, t-shirts and we call them stubby coolers here, beer coolers, can coolers, koozies, I think some people call them, those sort of things, a wetsuit material that you put a beer can in, put a photograph on that. There's a whole specialist arrangement where you can send your own photograph and have them put on. Anything like that is something that you might branch out on. And that's where your second option comes from. So if you're not just going to sell photographs, you might set up a whole site that sells the equipment as well. So this is a photograph I took of this landscape. This is the camera I used. This is the tripod I used. These are the settings I had. So that you're solving a problem for people who might want to get into it themselves. They might buy your image, or they might buy the equipment you've got. So have a think about that, and think about when we talk about selling your photographs online, what is it you're really going to sell? Are you going to sell just the photographs, or are you going to sell the knowledge and the know-how and the talent that you have by recommending cameras, recommending tripods, recommending camera bags? I shot this photo at the top of a mountain. I use this camera bag to take all my equipment up there. You'd be surprised how many people would want to, well, you probably won't be, how many people will spend money on that sort of thing. So have a think about that. Are you just selling your photographs, or are you going to branch out and sell other things on top of your photographs? Then we talk about problem solving, and that we touched on that a second ago. So most of us do a search online to solve a problem. So if I want to know how to take a photograph, if I see a photograph where I live, we live at a beach, and there's often local markets where they'll have a couple of ladies around here go down and take beach shots and put them on canvas. I've got one hanging in my lounge room. And so my problem then comes from, oh wow, how do I take that photograph? Or where do I buy those photographs? They're my two problems that I'm probably going to look for. So I want to buy those photographs. You need to have a site that beach photographs, in they come, there's your site, there's all the photographs of the beaches. They can purchase your site and purchase your photographs, and off they go. Or if you're on a micro stock site, which we'll talk about in a second. Or, excuse me, it might be, how are you going to get that shot with the equipment that you've got? So how do I take a shot like that at the beach? You might have a whole post on how do I take shots at the beach. You need to talk about where the light needs to be, as in where do you position yourself in comparison to where the sun is. What tide do you need for certain types of beaches? What do you need to do with the sand? What settings do you need on your camera? All those sort of things. You might go through a whole range of that information. The idea behind that is you're providing information to people without them necessarily having to buy something. Because if they don't buy, at least they've got the information, your site becomes trusted, the search engines like it because they're on the site longer reading all the information, and they'll probably come back in the long run anyway to purchase from you. So again, the two problems, I just want that shot, or I want to know how the shot, I want to know what equipment I've got. And that also is determined on what we talked about a minute ago, is what you're going to sell. Are you just going to sell photographs, or are you going to sell all the equipment that goes with them? If you've made that decision, how do we sell them? Well, there's a couple of options, especially with photography. I mean, most of the time that I talk about on Make That Sea Change and this within the Make That Sea Change site, this site, is about affiliate marketing. So we find clothes, we talk about essential oils, CBD oil, all those sort of things, and we find affiliate programs that we can discuss the product online, solve problems, provide information, and then links off so people can purchase those products from the relative vendors. With photography, if you're just selling photos, you probably won't go down the affiliate marketing path. You probably will go straight to the just selling your photographs. Now, there's a couple of sites you can do that on. Well, there's not a couple, there's quite a few sites you can do that on. They're called microstock sites. You probably know them, I wrote them down yesterday. 500, PX Prime, Shutterstock, iStock Photo, Adobe has one. They're all sites that purely sell the photographs. So if I want to, I go into Unsplash and Pexels, which are the free ones. We'll discuss them in a second, but the same sort of thing. So what happens is you take a portfolio of shots, you upload those shots to these sites, and depending on the site, some of them, once you upload them, they actually take ownership of them, and then you make a commission of about 25 to 45 cents per sale. They can sell the shots anywhere from $1 to $100. Or the other ones where you upload and they just take a cut of what you sell them for. So if I want excuse me, if I want a photograph of, say, an Indian curry, if I'm doing a recipe site, I want a shot of an Indian curry, I'll go onto Shutterstock, I'll do it as a member, I'll pay my fee, then I can download those photos. For every photo that I download, you then make a commission if it's your photo. So if I want a shot of an Indian curry, you'll have your portfolio of all the curries. I'll do that search, I'll find that curry, and then I will be able to download your photo. When you go into those sites, you need to make sure that your quality is there. We'll talk about that in a second as well. You'll go through an application, you'll upload some demonstration images. They'll look at them, go, yep, I like what you do. Here's your access, and you can start uploading your photos. Most of the time you won't pay for that. You'll get the commissions, you don't pay. Some of them will charge you a small fee to host your photos up there. Depends on the site. There's a lot out there. There's niche ones, you might find one just for weddings, just for food, just for travel, or you can go to the bigger ones. As with anything, the bigger ones are more popular, so people know them and know where to find them, so you've got greater access to your images, But there's a lot of competition there, so you just need to be aware of all that as you go through it as well. So there your microstock sites. As I say, what have I got here? 500 PX Prime, iStock Photo, Shutterstock, SmugMug is another one. And as I keep saying, there's a lot more there as well. The other option then you've got, if you don't really want your own website, you just want to sell your photos, maybe you can try a marketplace store, which is something like Etsy, Amazon, eBay. Etsy in particular gives you the option to set up your own photography store, meaning that people can download them, or if you wish, you can have Etsy set up. You can set up so that they can get them printed on canvas and the canvas sent to them, or a photo with a frame, etc. sent to them. You've got all those options. So you can definitely do that with an Etsy. Amazon's the same. You can upload photos, or you can t-shirts with your photos on, stubby coolers, your photos on. If you can take a photo and stick it on something and sell it, well then you can do that on Amazon. The advantage of them, as opposed to the microstock sites, is you control what goes up and is up and isn't up. You get a greater cut because the marketplace sites don't take as big a commission. But there's a little bit more work, especially if you're going to start marketing canvases. So there's a canvas here, for example. I don't know how well that'll show, but that's a canvas. So if that was your photograph and you put that on that, excuse me, then obviously you've got to worry about that marketing and that sales and all that sort of stuff. So it's up to you what you can do, but you've got the marketplace stores. Have a look on the post here for more information, and you can go into those stores and have a look. Now, the other option you got here is then you start getting to your own website. Now, your own website, I believe, is where you can really start to make more money for yourself. It'll take a bit longer because obviously if you've got a brand new website, people aren't going to know it like they know the eBays and Amazons and the Shutterstocks and the iStock Photos, etc. But again, with the affiliate marketing tack, you've got more option here to be able to set up your own business and have it run the way you want. So especially good if you're planning, like we said before, to branch out into those other areas. So you might decide that you do want to sell photography equipment and tripods and all the components that go, lenses. You might have the A to Z of lenses. Then you'll write posts on how to take beach shots, how to take landscape shots, how to take food shots. I walked past a restaurant a while ago and they had a couple of their menu items on the table, and they had lights here and reflective things here, and they were taking photos of the food with a camera on a tripod above it. So all that sort of information is something that people need. So you're providing solutions, you're actually solving their problem. If you want to take photos of food, and we'll talk about quality in a minute as well, so if you can really nail that aspect of it down, people are going to buy from you because they want to match what you're talking about. And if you say, I took this photo with this camera, this tripod, this lighting, this reflector, here they all are, this is what my photo looked like, these are the settings I use, people want to essentially follow your post, buy your equipment and do the same thing. That's what you're probably heading towards your website. Affiliate marketing, affiliate programs are bound. Again, you can go on Amazon. I did some examples on the bottom of this post and stuff you can market through Amazon. You can also, if you type in affiliate photography into a search engine, you'll find all the affiliate programs that you can use for camera equipment, even for photos. You can sell other people's photos as an affiliate through your own website if you like. There's a whole raft of things you can do there. So again, excuse me, coughing today. Didn't cough till I sat down. So you can find all those programs, and you can join your affiliate programs and really start to build up a good following, good trust. Because if people want to know about photography, they will keep coming back to your site, especially if they're learning and trying to work out themselves what they like to photograph. If they like to photograph plants, well then they're going to come back to you and find out how to photograph plants, what lighting they need, what's the best time of day, where the sun needs to be if they're outside, what lighting they need inside, and so on and so forth. Then you need to look at your social media, and social media is probably more something that you'll use to market your images. The obvious problem here is if you start putting your photos on Facebook and Instagram, then there's nothing to stop me copying and pasting them and putting them on my own site. But on your social media, you don't put the same quality of image that you do on your sales site. So people are losing that aspect. If they try and expand it just pixelates and so on and so forth. But social media, think about what you want to do with your social media. If you've got any sort of site, whether it's a microstock site that we talked about or whether your own website, you can pretty much use social media just to market back into those. Good ones for imagery, obviously Instagram, Pinterest, YouTube. If you want to shoot a video on how you're taking the photographs and so on and so forth, you might need someone else to hold the video. But they're the sort of things that you can do to really market your photography and really get your name out there, which takes us to the free image sites. Now, as I said before, I use Unsplash, I use Pexels. They are free sites that allow me to download and use images royalty free. I can use them for whatever I like. I don't pay anything. What they do though is they have, when I download it, gives me the photographer's name and asks me if I want to do two things. If I want to donate to PayPal, which I do every now and then, I donate, especially if I've used that photographer's, if I note that photographer and I've used his or her images a couple of times, I will actually donate to them. That's how they can make some money from it. Or I can cite them. So other people reading my post are going to see, oh, this is a photograph by John Smith. Oh, I like his stuff. They can click on that and off they go, and they can see all his images as well. And you can then commission them. A lot of those sites will let you commission those photographers on the side. You can go to Fiverr.com as well, which I haven't put in the post, which is something that you can do to take photographs for people. If people want photographs, they can take photographs online for you. Okay, so don't be afraid of the free image sites. As I said, they're a good way to market. A lot of people will put a couple of photos in there, then have the rest of them in Shutterstock or iStock or something like that. Or you might have a couple of photos in there with links to your website. So it gives you good backlinks. It gives you a couple of ways to drive traffic to your website as well. So don't be afraid of the free image sites. Obviously, you don't want to put everything on there and just give all your photographs away. You won't make any money, but it is something you can do. Now, just something to be aware of, not much more here. When you are selling your just let me get to what I'm talking about. When you're selling your photographs, as you're building a photograph portfolio to sell, whether it's on your own website, through the Microsoft site, micro stock sites, not Microsoft, micro stock, all those sort of sites, make sure that your quality is there. Quality is everything when it comes to photographs. There's nothing worse than, especially when you purchase a photograph and try and blow it up and it just pixelates it. It could be because the quality is not there. Make sure that you're using good equipment, and this is sometimes hard when you're just starting out. I've seen photograph sites of people taking shots on their iPhones that are just unbelievable. I'm actually shooting this video on my Samsung mobile phone or cell phone, so the quality's not always bad. But make sure that your images, you get a good editing software so that you can make sure, because all the sites that you upload your photos to will have specifications, the width and the height, the size of the image. So if they only let you have a 1 GB in size image, it means you need to optimize it. And if you optimize it on a poor editing site, optimizing means it removes pixels. So the image isn't going to be as crisp and clear as it could be if you're not using the good software. They'll want to know what sort of file size you said, as I said, whether they're a JPEG or a PNG or something like that. They'll want thumbnail specifics, because a lot of them put thumbnails on there and you click on that and then it takes you to the actual proper image. So they have thumbnail specifications. All that needs to be high quality. So if you can't afford the equipment, maybe rent it when you're first setting up your first portfolio. Good editing software, you can always use that on a trial basis for most of them. Photoshop, I think you can trial, so go to those and get your portfolio set up with good quality. Follow the instructions of the site: size, optimization size, file type, height and width, etc. Make sure that you follow them, because if you don't, they'll reject you. And use keywords. I mentioned before the images, and if you have a look in this post, you'll see the photography images that I've used. I went into Unsplash, I typed in photography, there were all the images. I downloaded the ones I want. I cropped some of them, which I'm allowed to do with Unsplash, which is something you need to be aware of with your images. Once you upload them, you have no control over what people like me can do to them. I don't destroy them, but I will crop them to make them look better on my page. But the keywords are how I found those images. So most of them will give you options, especially through your metadata, is all the keywords you want to use. So if I use photography, the keywords for that obviously was photography. It might be photography, landscape, photograph, camera. It might be the camera brand if they use a particular camera brand. So whatever those words that I search for, those images will come up. It's the same as for those of you who are familiar with keywords when you write blog posts. You're trying to match what people are searching for in the search engines. So on this one, how to make money selling photographs online. Photographs online actually ranks higher than photography online. So that's why I use those words. So I'm trying to get you to find my posts. That's what you need to do with your photographs. So think about the keywords you want to use. Make sure they're in the file. Some of the upload sites will allow you to enter the keywords into the site as well, into their site. So they'll say, what's your name and photo? What are all your keywords? You might get 10 keywords or 20 keywords. You enter all them in. It just helps people find your photograph. No point having it on there if people can't find it. Because people aren't going to search for you, they're going to search for a topic. And again, I might search for Indian curry. Keywords might be Indian curry, it might be Rogan Josh, it might be Vindaloo, it might be spices, it might be chili, it might be curry powder. Whatever it is that my keywords are to make people find my image, that's what I put on there. Don't put keywords that don't match the image, because people will just look at that and say, well, that's not a search for it, and it's not going to get people to stay on it anyway. So make sure your keywords match your image. And finally, get some training. If you don't know something about your equipment or how to take good images with something, or lighting, or what the aperture settings or the white balance settings or all those sort of things are on a camera, get trained. The more training you get, excuse me, the more training you get, the more information you know, the more information you can give to people on your sites, the better photographs you'll take faster, which means you can shoot more images, get a better portfolio up and running, get more photos up there to sell. So always get your training. Okay, that's it. How to make money online how to make money selling photographs online. Choose how you want to sell, get your portfolios up and running, choose the media that you want to use, whether it's a microstock site or your own website, and then build your portfolio, maintain your quality, follow the instructions of the sites you're uploading to, and in time, you can definitely make money from photography. All right, guys, thanks for listening. Hope that was helpful. As usual, please don't be afraid to click on the like below and subscribe below, and I will see you